Hey everybody. First off, I want to thank Tide We for paying for the show. If you need a pair of boots, a pair of waders, a new backpack, some hunting rain gear, look them up. They got some good stuff. People always amaze me. You can hand them a roadmap to success, and unless you tell them it's a roadmap to success and point out exactly how to go on it, they don't get it. And right now at this time of the year, with snow on the ground and these cold temps, God has handed them a roadmap to success. What's a roadmap? Well, a roadmap, maps have roads on them, right? You can follow roads to destinations. Well, so does snow. I mean, you look out here at all these tracks, and it amazes me that people will still go to set stands. Hey, you got a map right back to where that buck lives. All you have to do is follow him. One thing I noticed following this track is the stride, number one. I mean, it's a decent sized track. It's not huge, but it's decent. But from one step to the next, it's a pretty good stride. It's dragging its feet. Probably a 2-year-old buck. See, I mean, look at how small these tracks are and how close together they are when they walk away. When you see the other tracks are so close together. The stride on this thing tells me it's a little bit of a larger animal. And following these tracks back into these areas will lead you into success. What you need to be able to do is you need to be able to read terrain and know when you're getting close to perceived bedding. Knowing the area is really a good thing, because you'll know where they've bedded in the past, or you'll know what's up ahead. So the one thing that's going to get you is you're going to find beds out in open areas like this, where it's really pretty open. And that's really not the kind of bed you want to set up on. That's obviously a night bed or something, because no self-respecting deer would bed here in daylight. So a guy can't be fooled by beds like this. And you might even find a lot of beds in a small area like this, but that's really one of two things. It's either immature deer, or it's deer bedding there at night when after they feed, chewing their cud. Night beds are often like that, where they'll be in a little bit of an open area. But even mature bucks, their night beds will often be in good, secure areas. This is not secure at all, and it's a very small bed. That's a small animal, obviously, probably a fawn. But with today's technologies, Onyx and maps on phones and such, you can still kind of see what's up ahead. That's a decent track there. But really, my point is, you follow tracks back to the areas where they bed and set up just before, and you know they're in there. There's tracks coming in and out. It's pretty easy this time of the year. You just have to put the work in. Short days, burnout. There's a lot of things that affect this time of the year. A lot of guys don't like cold weather. But if you still got a tag, it's a damn good time to be hunting. Kind of interesting. I wanted to go back and look at some setups behind my house. And I came down here. Where I'm sitting is where I always do my interviews for video. I didn't bring my tripod, I'm just holding the camera because I'm planning on getting on some tracks and following them back. It's interesting that, following these tracks back off of my property, that I was kind of shocked to see right here where I sit all the time, and just sat and did a video last weekend. Deer tracks everywhere, and even a bed right beside where I sit. See, I'm sitting in my spot, see? And here's where I cleared off the snow to sit here last week. And look at this big track walking right up to here to smell what I was doing here. I mean, it doesn't go through. He just came in here and said, "What's Dan doing?" And smelled here. He's not the only one. There's some little tracks too. A lot of deer came in here just to smell where I walked. Yeah. Snow can teach you a little bit about the thinking process of a deer. They will track you down and pattern you. And now they know where I do my filming. They could be laying an ambush. They could be after the serial killer. Maybe these are police cops and they're out to catch a serial killer. It's not good. Not good, folks. But look at this. He wandered over here and bedded down. See how his back was right there? The wind's blowing like this. He's looking down there and smelling where I come in. His tracks go up, follow my trail back and forth, come in here, smell that spot, and bed right there. Now, why do you think a big buck, or in this case he's not big, tracks look like a 2-year-old, but 2-year-old's a pretty decent buck on public land out here. But why do you think he's bedding right where he smells people? Right here. Well, I look at that bed and I can see that it's laid out to catch me when I walk in that opening and take off out of here. Good escape right through there into thick cover. He's hunting me. Deer cop. So let's follow some of these tracks back, see where they go, see where some of the bedding areas are, and see how we'd set up. A lot of time, guys will tell me that they can't get on to big bucks, they can't find any at this time of the year, that it's a ghost town. Well, deer are still there. They're just bunched up near food. And one of the best ways to get on them is to drive around these public areas and look for tracks crossing the roads and see where there's concentrations of tracks, and then get out, follow them back, especially if you can pick up a good track. These are old tracks, but there's a good chance they run into his fresh tracks as they get closer to bedding. And here we go, they're all coming together right here. You gotta be really quiet when you're getting up close to thick areas like that. That's the transition edge. It's a good chance there's some bedding along there. But I need a little fresher sign and a little more sign before I get excited. I'm just going to keep following. But this looks like a good area, but I intercepted some human tracks about 100 feet back, telling me that these tracks went cold about the time that person walked through. Looks like they walked a dog through here. But we're just going to keep going. One thing I want you to notice is, do you hear that? Listen. It is dead quiet. It is very important that you're the utmost quiet when you're following these tracks. If we had crunchy snow, we'd have a hard time. We'd probably have to wait for a windy day. But we have soft snow, and if we go real slow, we can be quiet. Yeah, these tracks are all about the same age as those human tracks, telling me that this buck was coming through here until that person came through. So hopefully he's still bedding in the same area or bedding back further along his transition. This would have been a good spot, and I could have came into a point like this. I mean, it's going right into bedding, but all these tracks are old. So looking at how he's coming out, it came out here like this, I would have never got this far, basically. I would have got about right here and set up right up there. Nice pine backdrop. 10-yard shot with the recurve. I'd have killed him right here. And his beds are going to be in there. Not more than 100 yards. Right in there. It's just the sign's old, so I'm not going to set up here. All the sign went dead. He obviously relocated. So we just cut in here and we're going to pick up a new buck if we can. So I'm walking this ridge edge looking for some, we've got plenty of deer back here. There's deer tracks everywhere. So I know they're back here and they're feeding back here. So it's just a matter of picking up another big buck. And just now, while I'm talking to you, I looked over and we're on a pretty good rub line. Look at this. That is waist high and pretty big around. That's 7 or 8 inch tree. And there's another one and another one up ahead. So a lot of tracks in here. We just got to pick up his tracks to find out where he's at, if he's still alive. Yeah, that's got to be a pretty good one. So trying to go through here quiet and cut a big track. So you'd be far better off doing this all day than sitting in a tree with minimal sign. If your goal is to shoot a big buck, walk until you hit big buck sign. Don't get into the idea or the mindset that you have to hunt. Look at that old rub. Holy cow. That's a waist diameter tree. Oh, look at that. Holy cow, is that a high rub? Check that out. For public land, that one is chest high on me. That is chest high. Holy cow. Look at that. Look at how high that rub is. That is insane. I'd like to find a culprit that did that. Killing innocent pine trees. He should pay for that. Part of following these tracks down is knowing the terrain. And where they're leading, I know comes to a point. And that point has some bedding off of it. I haven't hunted that point in years and years. But if the deer are heading that direction and coming from that direction, I believe that's where they're probably bedded. So we should probably start creeping about now. Because I think we're only about 100 yards from that point. Kind of hard to see because it's thick in here. But that point might be the place to be. As we get closer, more and more tracks start coming together, going towards the point. So you gotta pay close attention to what the wind's doing. And right now the wind is perfect. It's coming at my face on a quartering angle. So we can get in there okay. Now this is the critical point. I'm within about 75 yards of that bed, or the beds are bedding off this point, and I'm getting pretty close, and I think the deer would make it this far. So if I go up to that point, what might happen is it might find that it's too thick to set up there, or there's no setups. So now that I'm getting within range, I have to make decisions on whether or not to set up back here or to keep going. I have to look at trees, look at ground cover, see if there's a place I can bury myself in the ground and shoot, or if there's a tree I can get into, or if I need to keep going. But I'm getting to a critical area here. Now I have to really weigh each move. So I'll stop in a position like this and I'll look ahead. And I'll look, is there openings up there? There is an opening here. And I got another trail that comes in here. They meet right here, so I'd have to be able to shoot up into there. But really, there ain't much for trees here. And I'm going to take a gamble and think I can get a little bit further. And there's some grassy areas up there I can kind of see. So I'm going to plan my path. I'm going to stay on the deer trail because it's the only open area I can walk on without making noise. I ain't getting through that quiet. So we're just going to slide along his tracks back here. That was probably a good idea because a lot more tracks are coming in as I'm getting up here from different directions. It is getting a little thicker though. But if the trail keeps going to that edge, I can see a grassy opening I can definitely shoot in. It's important to keep re-evaluating your path, your course, and making sure you can get through stuff and looking ahead and thinking ahead. Too many guys just go from point A to point B. Now I got all the trails kind of breaking up now and going in different directions and getting wide. But one thing I can see, looking over there, I can see deadfalls and stuff forcing them this way. And I can see the grass opening up here, it goes up a little ways. So all these trails will end up in that grass opening. So considering that, if I swing over here to the grass opening, I can walk quieter without going through brush. I can get close to that point and not walk on the deer trails. And the smaller non-target deer can get all the way back in here before they get spooky. And by this time, they'd be downwind of me. So, in other words, I won't have them spooking right in front of me and running back into the swamp. They'll get past me and spook, if they spook. A lot of times I'll just hit your scent, smell it, and keep going. But I'm going to get over to the grass because walking through here is noisy, so I'm not going to follow the trail anymore. I'm not going to follow the tracks anymore. I can see and use my brain looking at the cover and know where they're headed based on my knowledge of the area. And I can understand that I need to swing out there and get off these deer trails and swing back in. I don't have to stay on the track at this point. I know we got good tracks going in there, and I know how to get over there quietly. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to abandon the trail and drop into the swamp here and circle over there ever so slow where I don't have all this brush making noise. From here, I can walk much easier, I can see much easier, and I can even start to pick trees. I see some nice poplars up there where it gets open. Walking through that stuff would have been a mistake. And believe it or not, I still got deer coming in and out from this area going to that point. So there's probably even more trails that are going to come in by the time I get up there. So we're just going to ease through here to those poplars, then ease in real quiet and pick the tree. But so from here, I'm going to stay over here where I can be quiet. And I'm going to get out to there and I'm going to keep looking at those trees. Keep seeing which one looks the best. For right now, it looks like that group of poplars right there. Maybe that straight one right there. But I got to take this path in here first and take a look from closer up. So I'll get up into that brush and then I'll take another look. And I'll go slow and I'll stop a lot so I'm not making a lot of noise. So now as I ease in here, there's those two poplars right next to me at 10 yards that I was looking at. Looking at them now, it looks too thick over there. But I see a bigger opening up a little bit further and some poplars up there. A little risky, but I need it. And that should put all the trails together in that opening up there. So I'm thinking those poplars up there. So I'm going to abandon these and keep easing along in here real quiet till I get to those poplars over there. It's midday. I have plenty of time. There's no reason to be making noise and going fast. And deer tracks are picking up like crazy the closer I get to this bedding. Wow, look at this rub. Look at the size of this rub right here. Another one waist high. There's something big running through here. So I'm going to get right to there where I can see real well and pick a tree again. Look at exactly what the wind is doing right here with some milkweed. Now all the trails enter that opening. So I look at this and I think I can get into that tree pretty easy and cover this whole thing. However, I think there's a chance of a wind swirl going through there, and I think I'm going to be skylit against the sky there. Probably want to get into this poplar right in front of these three here. Just slide up and get into there and do it really quiet. The end of the point is right there where the cattails start. I have not heard a deer run off. I have not heard any snorting, nothing. No crashing, no crunching. So I don't think I've spooked anything yet, but I still got to get 10 more yards. And there's a good chance there's some deer bedded right on the tip, which would be 50 yards from the tree. And I really don't want to spook them through the bedding area, so I'm going to try and be super quiet this last 10 yards. I'm getting into that area where the deer are going to be mega paranoid. See how I'm playing on each step? Instead of walking into that brush, I'm going to walk around like this. I'm looking ahead. Where do I got to walk? I got to step here, step there, step there, step there. When I get to there, it looks like I'll go that way, but I'll keep reevaluating. Maybe I can step over that stuff without hitting it and walk through there. So the tree I wanted to get in has some branches from an oak tree in front of it. So I think I either need to get into that oak tree or this little tree here, and I'll get up to the tree and I'll see. Both of them are in the same travel path. So there's a deer trail over here, so I'm going to try and cut right through here straight instead of walking on the deer trail. Okay, so I see a good cross trail right here coming out of the swamp right there. So they could be bedded in the cattails right there. So that makes a little bit of a challenge to exactly where I set up. I think this is the tree here. Possibly. I'm looking where I got openings and shooting lanes. It's kind of tricky. So I could get up there and be low and have some shooting in that one. Most of the trails are over there, so that would work for that and give me some cover. And this one I would have to have, wouldn't be able to shoot very far. I'd be kind of stuck here. I think that could be my tree right there, or the other side, but over there, those are too limby. And if I ran a saw with how quiet it is, I'd get busted. Getting in that oak would not be a bad idea. If I get a shot out of there. It looks like there's a spot for a stand on the other side of there in the perfect elevation. I can still hit this trail, still hit all of that. Now, see how I sit back here and I evaluate before I move forward. I don't walk all over the place and scent the area up. I think we're going to try and get in the oak tree. I think that gives me the best cover, and it gives me the best shooting for every situation, every trail. So we got to get even closer, and that's going to put us pretty close to that point, probably about 75 yards from the point. So we got to be super quiet. I do think the bigger stuff is probably bedded in the cattails, but I really don't want to kick something small in there by it. Now when I set these stands up, these sticks up, the bottom step is at knee level. That's how high you can step effectively. I gotta look up the tree where I've got room to climb. I see this is in my way. A little more open over there, so I want to move it a little bit to this side. And so we're going to put that strap through here, wire it around so it doesn't blow around on us. If it was really windy, we might wrap it around a couple times or something. We just want to keep it next to the tree and still plan our path down. So I can get the first 2 sticks on from ground level. Then I'll I'll just have to climb up one, drop a stick there, and then I'll probably be able to climb some branches and just get the stand on right up in there. There's where I got my stand. We got one trail going in over here, in and out, that we saw, and we can see all the other sign goes that way. Deadfalls over there kind of forcing them through this opening. From up there I can shoot this whole radius, right? So here's my setup. I got one stick here, one stick there, one stick there. I literally could have did 2 sticks. I could have stretched that one and that one out and used that as a step, that as a step, that as a step. However, I got all these sticks, I might as well use them, because when you start stretching out, you start trying to do pull-ups, you start trying to do acrobatics, you make noise. The whole trick is to be quiet. Sometimes an extra stick, a little extra procedure, taking a little more time is better than having one stick less or something. You know, being able to get up a tree quiet is important. And when you're doing a pull-up, when you're doing stretches and stuff, is when you make noise and when you spook things. So, tree stand sitting right there in a little opening. I got a little shooting everywhere. And like you saw, I determined that from back there and eased my way in, picking the tree. And this tree's got pretty good cover. I mean, this is a pretty bulletproof spot if a deer comes out the way it's supposed to. So now here I am up in the stand, and I still haven't heard no deer crash off. And I wanted to show you what it looks like from up here. So here's the main trail with the buck tracks going into there, and you can see all the tracks over there. They split off in different directions over there, but you can hit just about everything from up here. That trail over there, I can hit that, and you can see it going through the cattails in there, so I'll be able to see the deer coming. When I hear the cattails moving, I'll hear them, but I probably can't see them until they step into the opening. But nice spot. And here we are, we're probably 20 yards from the point. All the shooting would be within 15 yards, 10 yards actually. Yeah, that spot is the first spot I can shoot, and that's 10 yards. So, I'm not going to actually hunt this. I'm going to turn around and go home. I don't have a buck tag. I just wanted to show you the setup. I actually wanted to take somebody out here, set them up, track it down, set it up, and film for them. But I couldn't find anybody that has a tag that wanted to hunt. It gets cold like this, nobody wants to go out. I wish I had a tag. Too bad we can't do catch and release. Can I let my 10-pointer go now? But whatever. Seems like when hunting's going on, you're really grinding it out, and you get your deer and you're like, I am done. I'm done. But a couple days go by and you start wishing you're back out there. Three years ago, we had some pheasants in the yard over here that came coming up, pecking around, and it got into winter, and I put some bird seed down for them, and they started coming in like crazy, and they were eating it really fast, and what I didn't realize is deer were coming in. So when I noticed the deer coming in, I quit feeding them because I didn't want to track deer into the yard. That was 3 years ago, so 2 years have gone by and I have not put no seed over there. And I just want to show you this. This is every single winter since. Same time frame. You can follow the deer tracks up here. They come up, check where the bird seed was, and then leave. And then here's another one. Come up here, check where the bird seed was, and leave. It just goes to show you how these deer have such an instinct for food and timing. And I say it a lot, but I don't think people get the significance. If you get a pattern down of a deer, he will do it year after year in the same spot at the same about time frame. And it just amazes me how much of this instinct is like this, and how often you see these deer do the same things at the same time frames year after year after year.